Hi YouTube family. I just wanted to come to you with a quick video on my pregnancy story. So if you're interested in that, I did mention that I was pregnant in my last video. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you watch that video. It's about being pregnant and also my relaxer update. But in this video, I'll talk about my pregnancy story, how long it took me to get pregnant, and then my pregnancy overall once I was actually pregnant. So if you would like to keep watching, stay tuned. So just to start out with a little bit of the background on my pregnancy story. So it actually started back in 2015. Yes, it sounds like a long time ago, but yeah, it actually started in 2015. I had found out that I had some fibroids in my uterus that was and at that time I wasn't, now it's the beginning of 2015, so I wasn't looking to actually get pregnant. But then it did cross my mind that because I did have fibroids, that there could be a potential issue with me actually getting pregnant or that process actually starting. So I did decide to go ahead and because of some of the symptoms that I was having with the fibroids, such as some pain during my menstrual cycle and also heavy bleeding, I decided to go ahead and stop taking birth control. Now, if you do some research, birth control is considered to be a possible contributor to having fibroids because it is extra hormones and estrogen. So do your research. But I decided to stop taking birth control and try to do some natural methods on actually getting rid of them. I did start a vegetarian diet, which only lasted for about 3 months. And then because I love to eat meat, I love bacon, and steak and stuff. But I did decide to go ahead and limit what I eat and eat in moderation as far as different foods that may attribute to having fibroids. So there's a lot of research. So if you have questions, you can always ask me, but there's a lot of research and information online that you can find. And also even here on YouTube, you can find loads of information on different methods that people have used to actually get rid of fibroids. So and I have my notes here. So I completely stopped birth control around June, the end of June, beginning of July of 2015. And we, weren't using any kind of prevention method. So it was kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, And so I did end up, we went for a while, and I was surprised that I hadn't gotten pregnant during a span of about 8 months of being off of birth control. So I decided to also switch my OB and go and get a different one, because the one that I had, she was just kind of like, we can't do anything about your fibroids, and you're just gonna have them, and all we can do is give you pain medication for the pain that I would have during my period. And that was pretty much it. And surgery would have been the only option, she's just said, but she's like, that's not even a guarantee. So I didn't really like her attitude. So I decided to go ahead and switch to a different OB, which was I went to somebody that was recommended by a family friend who was a nurse. And so I ended up going to her OB that she went to, and which she was a lot more positive, just like, we'll try whatever we can. So they, looked at a lot of things, and it was thought that my fibroids, or one of them, or both of them, I have three fibroids that they were of major concern about, and they were concerned that they were possibly blocking my fallopian tubes. So there were a lot of different ultrasounds and such. We were actually scheduled to take another ultrasound, which was one, I can't remember the name of it, but where they inject a dye into you so they can actually see where the fibroids were. So we had that one scheduled, And also I did other testing, like finding out if I was actually ovulating. My husband was also about to get tested to see if, make sure, he's producing, So, so we were doing things and methods to make sure that, we were basically both, our reproductive organs were, working, that we were reproducing, we were having eggs and sperm, and everything was healthy, because in general my health was good, in general his health was good as well. So we were doing all those methods, and it was starting to wear on the both of us, where it's just like stressful, especially if you do an ovulation kit. When you're doing an ovulation kit, there's only a certain window that, oh, this is the best time to reproduce, so have sex now, basically. So it was starting to get stressful instead of it just being intimate. So I kind of forgoed. I I kind of just stopped everything and was like, cancel the appointment. I was like, you know what? I'm a Christian too, so I definitely believe in faith that yes, we have medical doctors and everything for a reason, but at the end of the day, what God says is what God says. What God has for you is what God has for you, and you have to have a level of faith for that. So I was like, you know what? God had promised me a child, and I looked up some scripture, and I stood firm on some scriptures in the Bible about fertility, about women praying for a child and God blessing them with a child, particularly Hannah in 1 Samuel chapter 1. So if you want to read about that, read about that. But she prayed, back in the day, men were allowed to have more than one wife. And in particular, this man had two wives, and Hannah was one, and she wasn't reproducing anything, but she was the one that he loved the most out of his other wives. And but she was barren, she did not have a child. So she prayed to God about having a child, and she continued to pray, and God, blessed her with a child. So I was praying the same thing, that if it could happen for her, it could happen for me. So I was praying, and I stood on God's promise that, no, God, you promised me a child. I believe, in children. So I believe that what you say, you have the final word, and your word is final. And so I prayed, because the next step was to actually since I was producing eggs and my husband was fine, that the next step was actually to have surgery. And I really did not want surgery. Like, we were literally about to start scheduling stuff to have surgery, and I literally did not want surgery. I never had surgery, had to have surgery before in my life. I've never had broken bones or anything, so I've never had to be in a hospital or anything all of my life. So, and I did not want to start now. So I was like, nope, I am not having surgery. I was determined. And so then, and that was about, I would say about in April, when we kind of canceled everything and stopped everything. It was like, you know what, let's just go it natural. So funny thing was, by May, Mother's Day came around, and got together with some family, and they're like, oh, when are you guys gonna have kids? You guys, me and my husband. And funny thing is that I was actually pregnant that time, and I didn't even know. I found out that I believe that following week, because I was supposed to start my period the following week, and it didn't start. But that's not unusual for me, because my period was kind of off a few days. It wasn't exactly the same amount of days apart all the time. So that was kind of normal for me, but something was like, no, this time it's kind of different. So I actually took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. So I found out I was pregnant in May, the week that Monday after, like a week after Mother's Day. I took a pregnancy test on that Monday. So, yeah, so found out I was pregnant, and I was like, see, once you stop all the stress, stop all of everything and just let God do his thing, it works out. So, pregnant from there on. So, I want to talk to you about like my whole pregnancy. So, my pregnancy, for the most part, it was pretty easygoing, I would have to say. Not really any issues with my pregnancy, with thank God, because I did also pray for my health and everything for my pregnancy. But about some of the symptoms that I did have from like week 8 to week 17, I did have morning sickness, but it really lasted like all day. So all day I would have it. Certain things will make me sick, certain smells will make me sick. Throwing up off and on all day, had a very limited appetite, not always hungry. When I did get hungry, I only eat very minimum and then sometimes end up throwing that up. So that was kind of a struggle and the miserable part of pregnancy. And then another issue that I end up having, which I'm still kind of dealing with, if you can kind of see what's going on here, is that I end up having dry skin, and then my skin also became very acne prone. Now, I did have some issues with blackheads and stuff before, but it really kind of elevated during my pregnancy. So I have a lot, especially around my chin area, I have a lot of bumps and stuff. I had a lot of bumps. I even had a lot of really small, tiny bumps on my forehead. So I don't know what, I guess more so the hormones, but I don't know what really caused it. And I'm still trying to deal with it now. And my skin actually turned dry, and it's still dry right now. So normally I usually have oily to combination skin, but mostly oily skin. So for me to go from oily skin to dry skin, it's definitely something that I've never dealt with before. So I'm still learning what to do with my skin so I could get my skin back cleared up again. I didn't get any stretch marks on my stomach. I did get them on my breast. And my boobs actually grew 2 cup sizes. So I used to be a B cup, now I'm like a D cup. So that was something that I was not expecting at all. And this may be TMI, but my areolas, they are humongous and huge nipples. Obviously that's needed for breastfeeding, but yeah, so that was some of the symptoms. So I want to be completely open and honest with you, but that was something that says, they got huge. Okay. And during my second trimester, I did start having some abdomen pain from the stretching of my uterus, and that lasted me about 2 weeks. So that was something that was uncomfortable, but I would kind of massage my stomach, and it was something completely normal. Sometimes some people feel it, sometimes people don't. So don't worry too much about, if you're pregnant watching this video and you feel it, always check with your doctor, of course, if you have any concerns. But that's just your abs stretching and making room for your uterus to get bigger. Towards the end of my second trimester and the beginning of my third trimester, I started having that pelvic pain from your pelvic bones loosening up. So that was pretty uncomfortable, making it hard to get in and out of bed, find a comfortable position to sleep in. So my third trimester, I probably barely got any sleep because I was just so uncomfortable at night, trying to get comfortable, get better pillows. We even got another mattress, just for comfort, and it helped somewhat, but for the most part, I was just uncomfortable, and made it hard to sleep at night. You have to sleep on your side, and I'm like a back sleeper. I love to sleep on my back and I love to sleep on my stomach. So those two things, not being able to sleep on my back or my stomach, was really, really hard for during the duration of my pregnancy as well. And plus the baby, my baby, she stayed on, and yes, it's a girl if you can't tell by the background, but she pretty much stayed on my left side the entire pregnancy. She loved the left side of my body, so that made it hard to sleep on too. So they say it's better to sleep on your left, but sometimes I couldn't necessarily sleep on my left very comfortably because she would be on my left side. Throughout the whole pregnancy, she loved that side. All the way up until delivery, she literally stayed on that left side of my body the whole time. And then the last 3 weeks, I had the swollen feet and ankles, so I didn't get those until, yes, the last 3 weeks of my pregnancy. Completely fine. I didn't have any high blood pressure. My glucose test was good. The only thing I was lacking again was iron, which is typical for most women during pregnancy because the baby's sucking all that iron out of you. But so that was the only thing I had to supplement was iron. I didn't have any other issues. And then that bacteria test, I can't remember what it's called, but the bacteria test that they test you for vaginally towards the end of your pregnancy, that was negative as well. And overall, I was just tired. Very, very tired. So I gained, overall for my pregnancy, I gained 30 pounds. So I started out at 128 pounds, and then I gained 30, so I went up to 158. I ended up actually losing a pound my last week of being pregnant. And just good health, and also the fibroids. The fibroids did not hinder the growth of the baby at all. She completely took over growth and my uterus and everything, so I did not have any issues. My fibroids did not block the birth canal either, so I was able to still deliver the baby vaginally, which was awesome because that was another concern of mine. I wanted to have a natural birth. I did not want to have to have a C-section or anything, so it worked out great. So, you know, keep up them prayers and make sure you have faith, you know, because with God, I mean, all things are possible literally means all things are possible. So yeah, everything turned out very well with my pregnancy, and so no complaints. Everything went well, and I have a beautiful baby girl. But thank you for watching and taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, just leave them down below. Make sure you thumbs up this video if you liked it, and comment below if you have any questions, and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I hope you guys are going to enjoy some pregnancy videos because that is kind of my life right now. So but yeah, have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.